Awesome. All right, everyone. Welcome to Bizapalooza Chat, May 16th. We have Julie Zisman with us from Get Little Bird. Hey, Julie.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ivana.
Hey. So we're going to hang out with the rock stars of small business. You're going to get tools, tips, and strategies to rock your biz like a boss. So, Julie, now that you're here, we titled this session, The Beautiful People. I don't know if you're... So I have to ask you a question. Right? The Beautiful People is really the name of a 1996 song by which artist? Is it Prince, John Lennon, or Marilyn Manson?
That would be Marilyn Manson.
Woo! So for all of you folks who did not know, Marilyn Manson is actually from my neck of the woods, here outside of Cleveland. Isn't that interesting?
Go Ohio.
Go Ohio. All right. So what is Marilyn Manson's real name? Is it Brian Hugh Warner, David Ogilvy, or Trent Reznor?
Brian Hugh Warner.
You are a rock star. You are a rock star. So I have to reveal something as we were getting ready for this thing. I have had butter finger typing, cutting, and pasting. And as I was pulling this thing together, I actually had the wrong answer. And it was Julie who pointed it out.
I like my music.
You like your music? Are you what's your favorite band?
Oh gosh. That's I was obviously devastated at the recent news of Prince. So that was difficult. It's been a difficult year for rock stars.
It has. Wasn't there something out there, maybe you guys in the audience would know, I can never remember, but there was either a movie or something about all the rock stars die and they go to this special place.
I haven't heard that, but I like to think that.
That's where all the dead rock stars, it's like an agreement. They're really not dead. They're all in this special place. So there you have it. So why don't we just get right into it, because the folks are really ready for this conversation. First, Julie, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about Little Bird so that folks can have context around our influencer conversation.
Sure. So I've been in B2B marketing around tech products for more than 18 years. I recently joined Little Bird not recently. A year ago, I joined Little Bird because it was the first time that I saw a tool where I could actually make sense of Twitter to do marketing for a B2B organization. Little Bird's an influencer marketing platform. We use a proprietary algorithm and social graph analysis to find experts on specific topics by leveraging information from Twitter. So you can uncover experts on any topic from digital marketing to OSHA. So it really helps you find the people that you need to connect with, leveraging the power of Twitter.
Julie, explain to us, influencer marketing is so hot. What is it and why is it so hot and important these days?
So influencer marketing, it's not new. It's actually been around for a long time. It's how you used to work with analysts and consultants that had large followings and lots of customers. But with the introduction of social media, it now has given the ability to connect with people who have influence, work together to create a message and get that message amplified with someone who has real authority with a following. So it's not just about popularity. It's not just about Kim Kardashian saying she ate pizza for dinner. It's about an expert who has stature within a specific group, who respect the opinion of that person.
Interesting. So, what you folks don't know is how I connected with Julie, because I had a story in my mind, and I don't know if you guys have this, but I had it that influencers were really popular people, right? Celebrities, folks that had like a huge following and, everybody knew their name and all this other kind of stuff. And what I came to learn really was that there was more to it than that. So how do you define an influencer really?
So we call it contextual relevance. We want to find someone who, again, doesn't just have a large followership, but who actually has earned the respect of others in their industry around a specific topic that they're an expert in. So Littlebird actually looks at the relationships between people and does that social graph to show you who might be the best fit for a specific topic.
So you're looking for people, the way I call it is like they're just always having this conversation.
Correct.
Right? And it's a contextual conversation.
And sometimes you find people that may not be loud talkers or talk often, but when they do talk, people pay attention to the things that they say. So again, it's all about that context. How is that person put in context to the relevance of the rest of the community around a specific topic? And that's how we actually connected, Ivana. It was you actually came up on one of my influencer marketing reports. And again, you have great relevance within the small, medium business community. So you are a great person for me to reach out and connect with.
Excellent. So actually, and this is how I got surprised. I ended up, I'll tell you people, I ended up on an influencer list at Dun & Bradstreet. I ended up on the list and someone I admire greatly did not. And I just couldn't believe that, right? So, and when I asked the question, I just didn't understand. I'm like, how is it that I'm on this list and this other person is not, right? And I guess it has. So talk a little bit about how people are curating some of these things in order to identify a profile of an influencer that's relevant. Because I think this is key for small business, because you think I can't afford a celebrity, or I can't, how will I ever connect to this person? So explain a little bit about these different profiles.
Sure. So again, it's not always a popularity play. It's especially when you can find interesting conversations that are taking place on Twitter. So that might be about virtual reality. It might be about artificial intelligence. It might be about best practices for managing small businesses. And again, it's not a stack rank by the number of followers that you have. It is literally how connected are you to other experts in your community.
Why is that important? Why is it important to be connected to other experts?
Because if you have earned the connection with other experts in your community, you're more likely to be a subject matter expert. And when we talk about influencer marketing, it's really important to note that there are kind of two sides of the coin. The first side is building one-to-one relationships with experts who can help guide your business and amplify your message. And the other side of the coin is the great data that gets surfaced by looking at these communities together. So you can funnel two engines around your marketing practices. One-to-one relationship building. So I'm a small business. I run and do all of our marketing here at Littlebird. So I spend about 25% of my time every week doing what I would call true influencer marketing. So that means I leverage the power of Littlebird to go out and connect with 5 new influencers every 2 weeks or so. And I also reconnect with 5 people that I've already established relationships with.
And why do you do that? What do you hope to get out of that?
Sure. It's really important to do that. I connect with people like Ivana to understand the things that are important to her that she's connecting on, so I can add value to her business by partnering with her on content like this. And then we get about a third of all of our digital traffic comes in from people like Ivana and other influencers writing and talking about our product. So that's a $50,000 advertising spend for me. So it's really important part of my strategy to continue to connect with influencers, have them understand how Littlebird is useful in their organizations, and then have them talk about it.
And I just want to make something really, really clear to all you folks, right? Julie and we met through this influencer platform, but you guys need to know I'm not being paid by Littlebird at all. I got to play with the tool like everybody else, and I enjoyed it, and I think it's awesome, and I've talked about it authentically. So there's a whole argument, Julie, around when do you pay people? When do you not pay people? Right? Because clearly, I mean, I got to say it, right? I mean, I make my money. One of the ways I make money is by having sponsored content or by, helping brands that I have a fit with, right? That there's a philosophical fit, or maybe I use them or something by helping them run campaigns. That's one of the ways I make money. But at the same time, right? Why would you pay someone if you don't have to? Explain when you'd want to pay someone, when you don't want to pay someone. What's the distinction?
Sure. So I think it depends on what you have to offer the influencer. So you don't always have to do a paid engagement, meaning, hey, Ivana, here's a check, let's go build some content together. It can be like, what are you working on? How can Little Bird help you? Is the information that Little Bird surfaces important to your business? And how can we position that exchange of information to be mutually beneficial? Of course, sometimes you need to pay influencers for creation, and it depends on the time and lift that you're asking those influencers for. But a lot of times it can, these long-term relationships are a great way to not only get that amplification, but I pull Ivana all the time and say, hey, what's going on in your space? Like, tell me how small, medium businesses are looking at the world. What's really important to them? So I know how to position and package our product to make sure that the market can take advantage of it.
And that's something that I think is really important. One of the things that Julie opened my eyes to, again, not only that you don't have to be a celebrity and be on TV to be an influencer, but the other thing is that every segment of business has their influencers. And I think a lot of small businesses don't know that. They don't know how to leverage that. And you gave me some great examples a million years ago when we first talked. There was something about something happening in San Francisco. You had this friend in the museum. And remember that conversation? Talk a little bit about that, especially like you said, like OSHA, or like something that you think like, how am I going to use influencer marketing?
So I have a friend who lives in the Bay Area who works at a local museum and was discouraged because other museums in the city were getting more coverage by the local media than they were. And so I ran a Little Bird report on San Francisco, which brought out a number of communities. And there was a local government community, and there was a local press community, and travel and hospitality. And then using the Little Bird functionality, you can compare yourself to a specific network to see all of the relationships that you've earned and where you still need to create new bridges. And I was able to show them, like, here's a great example of where 12 of the local publications are trying to connect with you on social media and you are not connected back. So it was a huge opportunity for them to take advantage of social as a channel and try and connect with these local publications and reporters so that they could get the respect or, get the coverage in the media that they were looking for.
I really love this because I had in a previous blab, I had a friend of mine who really works with folks on social media and helping them build relationships with media folks, especially if you're a small business expert, which I know a lot of our audience fits right in that category. And of course, one of the things we would all love to do is be written about or be, featured or be on some MSNBC or Fox News or something like that. And so are you saying then, like, let's say if you had that, talk a little bit about how to set a goal, an influencer campaign goal, and like the media one, and then how do you move forward on that?
Sure. So again, we want to keep that digital footprint consistent here at Little Bird. So we connect with influencers who are most relevant to our business, try and understand the things that they are working on, and then offer them the opportunity to partner together to create new content. So we've been successfully able to do that with Michael Kriegman and Bala Afshar and Matt Hines, and a lot of people want to use the power of the platform to give them data on things to write on. Even Marshall, our co-founder, Marshall Kirkpatrick, he was able to do an amazing thing for us. So we I have a blog on the Little Bird blog called A Tale of Two Stories. And in 1 week, we're able to generate 40,000 page views on blogs on Little Bird because we wrote on very important news subjects. So one of them was about the new CMO at Twitter, and the other one was about everyone's favorite politician, Donald Trump. So we were able to generate this huge influx of traffic to the Little Bird blog, which not only got us that specific direct traffic, but we also got a lift of about 40% in our kind of search engine optimization traffic, because Google was seeing all of these new inbound links to our site and then ranking us higher in search engine rankings. So it really kind of gave us lift across the board, and that's what I mean when I say you have this one-to-one relationship building where I get to do things like this with Ivana, but you also have the data. When you can see what influencers are writing and talking about, it also can help you shape your marketing strategy to get more out of that as well.
So I ran into this article that I want to share. I'm going to put it here. I don't know. It says drop in any link. And every time I try to do this, Julie, it like never works.
I see it over there in the chat.
It does. Yeah, I put the link in there on the chat. Oh, it worked? She's saying, well, I got the link in the chat, but I was hoping I would get to see it here in the window. Oh, there it goes.
There it is.
Yay, it worked. Yay. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this thing called the majority illusion. I ran into this article, and it's, basically there's a tweet in there that they highlighted. You only need a handful of influencers to give the impression that everyone is talking about your brand. Do you know anything about this?
I do know Jay really well and Convince and Convert. They're great to us here at Little Bird too. Jay's actually an investor in Little Bird, and it is. You don't have to, so there's earned media, there's paid media, and so you don't have to go out and do a huge paid media strategy in order to get a significant footprint. In any given month, we have 3 or 4 different articles that link back to our site that deliver that traffic footprint that I've talked about. So it's really like understand who is a influencer that you want to partner with for that symbiotic relationship. Again, how can you help them? How can they best help you? And are they the best fit to the people you're trying to connect with? And again, using that model of just creating a handful of really powerful influencer relationships can be a much better strategy than going out and paying 1,200 people to talk about your name in social channels.
That's awesome. Awesome. So I'm gonna throw it out here for questions to see if anyone's got questions for Julie. If you want to jump into the chat, you can certainly do that. I'm going to take this article out. Right. And I'm going to look and see. We talked about, I wanted to ask you one more question.
Sure.
Becoming an influencer, right? So I saw this somewhere. I saw this phrase somewhere, and I'm not even sure I know what it means. And I'm going to ask you, and if you don't know what it means, that's totally okay. Micro-influencer. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, so it means, again, it's not that you have 10,000 plus followers. It's that you are a subject matter expert on something specific and have a very tightly connected community that you're a subject matter expert on. So we call that under the radar, or there's 2 ways to look at it. It's under the radar or emerging. So under the radar means you have of a relative community of experts, you have a lot of their attention, even though you yourself have a small following. We call that an under the radar influencer.
And why are under the radar people valuable?
Because there's one other kind of variety that I'll talk about when we look at data. There's another one called emerging. So emerging means it's someone who's new to Twitter but is quickly gaining the respect of their peers by getting a lot of followership from other experts. So those 2 types of influencers are really great to identify early, because if you can build an early relationship with those people, they often carry you with them through their process of building a much larger community. So, and they also have often more practical relationships with practitioners. So they're more like doing the job every day plus telling how they're doing the job. So they might have more authenticity around a specific product usage than kind of a mainstream influencer.
So given all of that, how do you go about becoming an influencer? And I'm so glad Winnie is dropping in here because she is an influencer.
Here she comes.
She's a I'm so excited. So if you want to become an influencer, how do you go about doing that?
So I think you have to figure out what are your best channels to participate in. Hi, Winnie.
Hello. How goes it?
Understand what you have expertise in and what you can authentically talk about, and then connect with the other people in the community that have that also are influential. Understand how you are the same or different than them, so you can tell your own story. And then you have to be consistent. If you really are interested in becoming an influencer, you have to have a public voice, and you have to be out and talking consistently. Because if you talk once and then kind of go back into the background, and people just it's social, so you have to be out there and engaging pretty regularly.
Awesome. So Winnie, welcome.
Thank you.
So happy to have you. Winnie's going to be our guest coming up in the next few weeks, I think. So Winnie, you are an influencer. Talk a little bit about maybe what strategies you use to grow your influence.
That makes me laugh because, truly, I didn't know that I was an influencer. And I've heard that said.
How did you find out?
Well, because all of a sudden brands were coming to me and wanted me on their tweet chats and wanted me to do this and that. I always laugh because I'm just a boring financial advisor. But all of a sudden it become really popular. But yeah, I guess I've been hearing things like clout scores and followers. I do have a pretty substantial following on social media. I guess I just was told 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm the second most followed financial advisor in the world. I had no idea. And I don't have a TV show. But with that, I guess what I find to be interesting is I'm not sure when to say yes and when to say no, because I have that tendency, like if I can do it and I have fun, then I'll just do it, And I love to align myself with people like Vana because, she's just good people. She's my friend. So she reaches out. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. But Julie, I'd love to hear from you. How do you quantify whether it's a good use of your time?
So we get that a lot from both the brand side of the fence and the influencer side of the fence. So again, I talked a little bit about a feature in our product called Compare. So understanding a network and how someone, even the brand Bizapalooza or Winnie, your brand, how you are connected to the network and whether the people who are in the network are a good match for what your business goals are. It's really important to kind of take a look at that. So if it's somebody where we get people all the time, we have some hotels and some retail suppliers who want to kind of validate that someone is an influencer. So they'll use that compare feature to see, is this person connected to the audience that I'm trying to identify with? And again, influencers can do the same thing. Is this person's brand a match for my business goals? So it's the same way. It's a great feature in the product that actually helps you kind of understand that.
That's really good. Yeah,
I like this idea of connecting, of seeing people and their relationships because you kind of can't fake that, right? One of the things that came up when I was doing my inquiry, Winnie, because I did not know I was an influencer, one thing that came up was this idea of engaging and being in conversation. So again, it's not just the followers, and it's not even the connection, is it, Julie?
No. It's it's understanding how that community talks, and is the community talking about things that you have subject matter expertise in as an influencer, as a brand? Is that influencer talking about things that are really relevant to your audience? It's really important to kind of understand this influencer and time investment standpoint, and also to for a brand, like, is that influencer really going to help them move the needle? Both from providing, again, that information, that two-way conversation with an influencer often gets overlooked, but can be really important. So when you're talking to small, medium business service providers who want to understand how best to position financial services for their clients, it's really important to understand if you are going to have the right things to say to those people, because it's not always a perfect match. And again, it's having that context. So important to make sure that you get that amplification that matters to your business.
Yeah, that's huge, Julie. I appreciate it.
All right. So, oh my God, it's because I'm echoing. And we're going to transition over to Twitter, where I have more questions for Julie. Want to bring all of you into the conversation. Head over to Twitter, follow #Bizapalooza Chat, where I want to hear your answers to the questions. You got to ask Julie some questions. And thank you all for being on the Bizapalooza Chat Lab. And we're going over to Twitter. So come on, after party.
Thanks, Ivana.
Bye.